Hi, this is Tom Salt, functional medicine practitioner and medical doctor.
Elizabeth, registered nurse and life coach.
And we're with Just Be Well, and we're going to talk about all things functional medicine, all things whole life wellness. We'll talk also about how these things might relate to COVID-19, and we'll also talk about detoxification and how that may relate to your immune system being overall ready to respond. So, detoxification, I think there's no node in the functional medicine matrix that really illustrates, hi Yolanda, that really illustrates how intertwined all of the areas of the functional medicine matrix are. To detoxify, ideally, hi Selena.
Hi.
Ideally, you are not exposed to toxins. So avoidance is number one. Number two is if you're trying to detoxify, you need to mobilize toxins. You need to excrete the toxins, and you need to try to prevent the redistribution of toxins, because if detoxification is not done properly, it can result in distributing the toxins out of, say, fatty tissue where it's often sequestered and just sort of put in a safe storage, but then it can end up in your brain or something. So you need to be a little bit careful about detoxification. And so that means you need to have all the nutrients. Well, guess what? That goes into nutritional part. You need to sleep well, because that's when you start mobilizing toxins. You need to, hi Fran.
Hi, Fran.
You need to, choose wisely what you're buying to prevent getting toxins in the first place. So there are many aspects to detoxification, and they really hit every single other node, because like we talked about energy last night. If you can't make ATP, if you can't make energy, you're not going to detoxify. So there's all these pieces of this detoxification puzzle. And everybody hears about, well, let's do a 10-day detox. And we did a video a few months ago. It was entitled Why a 10-day Detox is 355 days Too Short. You're getting toxins every day. We live in a toxic world. I just wrote some stuff for our Peak Wellness Academy and our immune whole life immune support program about toxins just this morning or yesterday, I can't remember. But in any event, there isn't a system in your body that these common toxins like lead and mercury and cadmium and so on don't affect. And people say, well, where would I get lead or where would I get mercury? Well, in the state of Minnesota, as an example, the health department says don't eat the local fish more than once a month if you're not pregnant, or once a week if you're pregnant or might become pregnant. And that's because of mining tailings in the northern part of the state and mercury contamination in most rivers and streams in Minnesota. Now, if you happen to live in California, you've got the semiconductor industries, and they use a ton of nasty chemicals. And in fact, getting rid of electronics is an environmental nightmare. So it turns out that we've had more and more chemicals and more toxins used in industrial application, electronic applications, and medical applications. There's recently been a black box warning placed on the use of contrast agent for MRIs. It's thallium. It's a metal, and it's been used just willy-nilly, but now they're saying, well, we really need to be thinking about limiting the lifetime exposure. And when we do heavy metal tests, we just see tons of thallium all the time. Gadolinium, thallium, lead, mercury, cadmium. find a lot of uranium, interestingly enough. And people aren't glowing because it's not a radioactive isotope. But so toxins and toxic issues are a big deal. And so tell me a little bit about ewg.org or whatever you were going to say.
And toxins, I mean, they're not only in our environment and in our food, but they're also on the products that we put on our skin every day. And our skin is our largest organ, and we do absorb those toxins through our skin.
Yep.
And skincare, cosmetics, the beauty industry is very poorly regulated. 1936 is the last law that was placed for cosmetics. So, it's just so many avenues that you don't realize that these toxins can get into your body, in the air we breathe, the water we drink. But ewg.org is a great place to find, they have cleaning supplies on there that they rate for you. They do beauty products, skincare, and also food. They have the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. And buying organic, I know I was just talking to Tom about an hour ago about the grocery bill that I've been going through every week with all these boys. And I do like to buy organic, but I do stick to the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15, because if you eliminate those Dirty Dozen, you eliminate like 90% of the pesticide residue that is on your food. So
you either eliminate the Dirty Dozen or you buy the Dirty Dozen
Yes.
organic. And then the Clean 15, even though it's not organic, has lower residue of pesticides and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's really important. So by the way, Fran, the blue Kool-Aid, not on the list. You were right. You were absolutely right. We used to be next door neighbors with Fran, and she used to laugh at us because we always had blue Kool-Aid because the kids loved it. She was crunchy before crunchy was a thing. All right, so first is avoidance, right? So minimizing the toxins. So at ewg.org, you will find consumer guides. In fact, you can go to ewg.org/consumer-guides, or just when you get to EWG, you can search for consumer guides. They have a whole page. They have them for consumer products, cosmetics, foods, cleaning products, all that stuff. So lowering the toxins. And why do you want to do that anyway? What's the big deal? Well, these toxins are poisons to our system. Now, you're probably not going to get enough that somebody's going to say, like I said last night, a toxicologist isn't going to say, you're poisoned. But far before you're poisoned, they're not doing anything good for you. And they're actually competing with other vitamins and minerals and enzyme sites in your body, which is causing, Fran's glad I remember the Kool-Aid issue. Yeah, well, you taught me a lot of things. If you try to eliminate those toxins first, then you don't have to burden yourself with getting rid of them. And I think that's a really important thing. Hi, Stephanie. So, again, those consumer guides are a great place to start. Obviously, the problem with organic is it's a lot more expensive than conventional food. So the Clean 15 versus the Dirty Dozen, either eliminate the Dirty Dozen foods or buy them organic. So you can save some money by not spending the money on the Clean 15 in terms of organic. And then how do you process these toxins? Toxins are either fat soluble or they're water soluble. So water soluble toxins we'd like to get rid of by drinking lots of fluids, lots of water. So we're just basically flushing our system. What's Yolanda saying here?
Let's see. Stephanie said hello. Yolanda, you are just making your body work harder if you have too many toxins.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're making your body do work it shouldn't have to do. And if it's doing something over here and something over here is happening, it's not going to notice, right? It's busy with this, it's distracted with this, and it doesn't notice this other little thing sneaking in. So that is a big issue. You're right, Yolanda. So the first step is flush your system. Now you can do that with water, but you can also do that with fat. There's some really interesting studies published in the Ayurvedic, that's the East Indian medical system, the Ayurvedic literature, which talks about using ghee, and ghee is of course clarified butter basically, but they often put spices in it like curcumin. What a surprise that Indians would put curcumin in their butter, but it helps it not go rancid apparently. But anyway, curcumin and ghee have been shown to accelerate fat toxins out of your body. And there are other studies that show that olive oil will help with this, and flax oil, and there's less information, but some information on coconut oil. So in my practice, I like to take a mixture. So you've got a saturated fat, so that's coconut oil, and an omega-3, that would be like flax, omega-6, that would be olive oil, and something like primrose oil would be an omega-6. 9 is olive oil. I think I mislabeled that. And a mixture of those things. And you can add ghee to it too, just for fun. But getting lots of healthy fats in your system displaces those fat-soluble toxins and gets them out. So, but how do you get them out? You get them out through your gut mostly. Most toxins, even though we usually measure them in the urine, most toxins actually come out in the stool. So that goes back to 5R. Can you tell us about 5R?
5R. So 5R is remove.
Yeah.
So remove the things.
Gut restoration.
Yeah. Yep. But each of obviously the R stands for something. So the first one is remove, and then it's replace. So replace it with good things. Reinoculate. Repair, and then rebalance.
That's good. Impressive. I never remember them in the right order, and I've only been doing this for like 30 years. But remove what? Well, remove imbalanced or pathogenic bacteria. Remove toxins that might be bothering the gut function. Replace what? Good stuff. So I like to say it's like the old Snapple commercials where the guy's running around saying, got to get the good stuff, got to get the good stuff. Well, we're going to get rid of the bad stuff. We're going to add the good stuff. And the good stuff is digestive factors like enzymes and bile acids and other digestive factors. And then reinoculate. That has to do with prebiotics, which in my opinion are more important than probiotics. Prebiotics are the fertilizers, basically, that the bugs are interested in, and those primarily come from a very diverse diet. So that takes us to a Renew diet or our whole foods diet kind of idea. I don't mean ours, just in general, a whole foods diet, a Renew diet, and get a diversity of fibers. So we've talked a bunch about, if you're healthy, they talk about get your 3 to 5 vegetables and 2 to 3 fruits, and they take the lesser numbers and they say get your 5 a day. Well, nobody talks about get your 8 a day, but even 8 a day is only for healthy people. So maybe if you're not totally healthy, think about getting your 8 to 10 a day. And let's just use the number 10 for a minute. 10 a day times 7 days a week, that's 70 fruits and vegetables. What if you got 70 different fruits and vegetables every week? That would be diversity. And a diverse diet brings a diverse microbiome, and a diverse microbiome helps your gut be healthy, and the microbiome actually starts the detoxification process before these toxins even get into your body. So that's all positive. And then, so that was reinoculate. Repair. give nutrients that repair the gut. And those are a multivitamin with lots of B vitamins, glutamine, which is an amino acid, curcumin again, quercetin, and there are many others, but that's a good list. And I like to use colostrum-like products, either just colostrum or serum-derived bovine immune globulins or egg immune globulins to help fight off the bad bugs and to support the immune system in the gut. And then repair, that was repair, and then rebalance. Yeah. So tell us about rebalance.
So rebalance is obviously you want to find what caused the issue in the first place, because you don't want to go through the first 4 hours and do all that work and then not rebalance to eliminate the insult in the first place. So really you have to look at and decide what caused the imbalance in the first place, and usually it's a multitude of things. But I think the most overlooked thing is emotional toxins.
Yep.
So that would
all of the modifiable lifestyle factors and that relationship piece and emotional toxins.
Yep, and then with the emotions is the stress management and the rest and relaxation. You know, a lot of times we forget about those, and those are really a lot of times a big piece in the causative factor of why we got imbalanced in the first place. So really looking at, you know, how well am I processing my stress? Am I using stress management techniques? Am I processing my emotions in a healthy way instead of suppressing them? And, you know, we're so busy in our day-to-day lives that it's pretty easy to be distracted enough to not deal with those issues.
Jean and Rebecca, hi. Hi, Rebecca. All the way from Iowa. I think it's Iowa, right? Mm-hmm. Good to see you, at least your name. So that's absolutely true. And, you know, I would say that emotional piece and the sleep piece are probably the two biggest neglected areas. You know, we think we'll sleep when we're dead, right? Well, the problem is if you don't sleep, you'll get the opportunity to sleep when you're dead much sooner, because it actually increases your morbidity and mortality. So again, that whole lifestyle piece, the 5R, because most toxins come through the gut, but then there's the liver as well. And in the liver, there are really several pathways, but we break them into two major pathways. There's phase 1 and phase 2. So phase 1 detoxification is usually an oxidative biochemical pathway where you oxidate the chemical that you're trying to get rid of to make it actually even more chemically reactive, makes it more toxic, which is not so good. And then phase 2 conjugates that or connects that thing to something. It connects it to a sugar, and we call that a glucuronide. It can connect it to glutathione. We call it a glutathione conjugate. Whatever it does, there's glycine. There's all kinds of other ones. But then that turns out to make it water soluble, so it's easier to get it into the bile, into your gut, and out the back passage, as my one of my anatomy teachers like to call it. Or into the urine, or into the sweat, or into the breath exhalate, whatever it is that is the pathway out. But Pamela, all the way from Alaska, hi.
She says not dealing with emotion leads to bad sleep as well. Definitely.
Yeah, right. It's all interconnected.
Definitely.
Absolutely. We are one thing. Our psychosocial, spiritual, community, ecology, it's all one thing. So this conjugation pathway, the issue with this is the phase 1 and the phase 2. If you don't have enough phase 2 intermediates, you'll build up phase 1 intermediates, and as I said before, those are more toxic. So you want to make sure you have enough glutathione. That really means you need to be probably, if you're trying to detoxify, you should be taking N-acetylcysteine, because that raises your glutathione level. Colostrum raises your glutathione level. And then once that toxin, is is out of your liver, into your bile, into your gut, that's when you need the 5R. So again, it all wraps back together in how we detoxify. There's a lot more to the biochemistry of detoxification, but I'm pretty sure it would just be a sleeping pill. So we won't go into a ton of it, just to say that phase 1 pretty much happens no matter what. It's phase 2 that we really need to worry about. And what do we need for phase 2? It's really not rocket science. We need a full complement of vitamins and minerals. And because we are, saturation farming, maybe would be the polite way to say it. We have depleted soil. The plants grow, and we used to do all kinds of things to soil, like use manure and whatever else, and mostly now we just replace nitrogen. Using, I'm just trying to read this.
Christina would like to know what type of colostrum you recommend.
Well, we have some colostrum products. There's colostrum. The problem with colostrum is that a lot of places spin down milk and pull out as much proline peptides as they can and call it colostrum, and that's not colostrum. So you really need to do a little bit of homework. We have one on our website. It's called IgG Immune. We have a serum-derived bovine immune globulin called BioIgG, and I believe we still have egg-derived immune globulin called IgY. But you can get colostrum at most health food stores. Just be careful. I have several patients who, used to harvest their own or knew a farmer and would get colostrum directly from a farmer, and that's fine too. This idea of phase 1 and phase 2, sorry, I got distracted there. I thought it was an important question. I wanted to address it though. Thank you, Christina. Hi, Jackie. So this phase 1, phase 2 problem. Phase 1 is going to happen. You are going to oxidate these toxins. You are going to make them more reactive and more toxic. So then you need phase 2 to work. So you need a full complement of vitamins and minerals. Well, that comes first and foremost from your diet. So having that diet that we talked about, that's 8 to 10 rather than 3 to 5 fruits and vegetables. And then probably a kind of a mega vitamin, with a couple 100% of the RDA of all the B vitamins and minerals to make sure that all those enzymes are working well is important. And then having that healthy microbiome, so that whole 5R program is important, and so on. So, I think that, I don't know, what do you think? What did I miss that's obvious rubber meets the road kind of piece of the puzzle?
Well, all the things that you're going through, I don't know if I'm going to pick out something that you missed, but I think it sounded good.
Okay.
The only thing, my thought is more on a different level on just, okay, so I know this stuff, how am I going to get this stuff, especially right now? Okay, you need 8 to 10 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. Well, I don't want to go to the store every other day, so how can I get those and stock up on those without having them go to waste? And this is where it comes in handy that you shop in the frozen food aisle. I love to buy fresh produce. I buy fresh produce, but I make sure I buy it and I can consume it within that first few days. Otherwise, we all know it goes bad, and there's nothing worse than having to take that head of organic broccoli and throw it in the garbage because there's stuff growing on it that you don't even know what it is. So that's where frozen vegetables come in handy, and they're very easy. If you don't want to, if you're like, well, I don't want to boil them, I feel like that strips the nutrients out of them. Lightly sauteing them with a bunch of those great different diverse fats that he was talking about, a balance of the olive oil or avocado oil, coconut oil, butter, flaxseed oil. You can get in those healthy fats as well if you saute them and put a few seasonings on them, and it's great. So
yep.
That's really only and another thing is, we watch the foods we take in. Again, when it comes down to that emotional piece, the stress piece, watch what you're taking in. So, what type of social media are you surrounding yourself? What are you immersing yourself in? What are you reading? What are you watching on television? Because those things also play a key role, and we can't forget about the emotional and stress management piece.
So just to show off a little bit, because everybody knows enlightened people show off all the time, right? What time were we up meditating this morning?
6.
6 a.m.
6 to 7.
Oh, what? So yeah, 6 to 7 a.m. we were meditating. It was great. Marianne, hi. What's it say there? What are both of them
It's
say?
super hard to keep fresh fruits and vegetables on hand with 5 kids. Yes, I have 3 boys too, Marianne. I feel it. It is hard. Yeah, it is hard because they either consume it or there's certain things my kids don't go for, which broccoli is one of them.
Yeah, 2 of them won't eat broccoli. One of them loves anything. And so when they don't want to eat the broccoli, I just think, good, more for me.
I make them eat a few
That's
pieces.
True.
They
That's
have
true.
to.
Yeah. Yeah, so, frozen is a real, especially at a time like this when you just can't be going out and about as easily. Frozen is a really good alternative. So we have a freezer that's pretty well dedicated to frozen food right now. Well, we usually don't have that much frozen food around, but we do now.
Yeah.
And eating lots of spices, so whether it's rosemary or curcumin or I don't know, name some more spices. I'm blanking, but
Basil.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Curry paste.
Curry's great.
So, putting a lot of spice on your food, number one, it makes it not so monotonous because it's plain old, right? And then on top of that, you're getting those nutrients, maybe not in the same dose as the concentrated pill, but you're getting those nutrients on a day in, day out basis, and it's keeping your whole system just primed and ready. Holy cow. Let's see, blanching and freeze. Yeah, blanch and freeze some of your vegetables. Absolutely. I wonder what's holy cow. What's this? Holy cow! Nice job feeding 5 kids, maybe. Yeah. What else?
Costco good prices on frozen organic fruits and vegetables. Yes, we've been meaning to make a trip. Maybe after all this is done, we're adding that to after this is all done list to get up to.
We have a growing list.
Yeah.
I think the first thing we're going to go to is a park or something where there's another human being within 100 yards of us. I'm
gonna go somewhere where there's some females. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, she's stuck in a house with way too much testosterone. That's true.
4 boys and 2 dogs.
Two male dogs. Yeah, 2 male dogs, 4 boys. It's got to be tough.
It's okay. I had lots of brothers growing up.
Yeah.
But I'm missing my tribe of
Speaking of that, both of my puppies. This guy's going to come knock over the tripod right now, no doubt. Hi, buddy.
Oh, the meditation, Selena, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, this is Otso, my buddy. And Fran will recognize
Christina, I'll put some links to the after we're done. So that way at least you can get to the website and you can take a look around. He's giving me kisses.
With his deer poop breath.
He's going to say right here.
Yeah.
Yes. You can be enjoying. You can join in.
Yeah. Looks just like Kusi, doesn't he? As he knocks over the tripod. Anyway, Kusi was a former, when I was a neighbor of Fran's, he was a former Newfie I had then. Used to pull the kids around in sleds. Don't knock everything over, you big lummox. Okay, put your foot over there. No, you're not going to do it. We're getting a lot of directorial help here with camera help with this guy. Somebody apparently let him in because he was outside.
The door was wide open outside.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay. All right, so that's, what else we got? Yes, he does look just like him, yep.
Dang, he is big. He is big, Stephanie.
He's the small one.
Yeah, I believe it or not.
This guy's about 130, 40 pounds. The one that's laying down right over there, black and white Landseer Newfie, is about 170 pounds. And we were talking the other day, this one, the black one who's now walking away, fortunately, he would actually bark and deal with an intruder. But the biggest thing that the big Newfie would do is he'd be laying in the way and the guy would trip on him. So that's the most he's going to do to save us during a home invasion.
Oh, he was a puppy last I seen. Oh, I bet he was cute as a puppy too.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen videos. He has a sock.
Oh, yeah. Well, he put it down. It's right there. Okay. He loves to eat socks for some reason, so it's just...
No, at least I have an excuse when they disappear.
Yeah.
Dog ate it.
That's right. Let's see what else we got.
Any questions? She remembers when you got them.
Yeah. Well, so I think that's Detox. If you have any questions, just go ahead and write them down. We're going to continue to circle the matrix. We did energy detox. The next one in the line is actually is circulation, or whatever it's called. Transport, I guess it's called. And so we'll talk about transport next time. Transport is kind of interesting because it's not just circulating your blood or circulating your lymph. There's actually, as an example, there's a cell in your body where the head of the cell is in the bottom of your spine. This is a nerve cell. And the end of that cell is all the way in your big toe. It's a long cell, one cell that long. And you have to get nutrients all the way down that thing and signals all the way down that thing. You know, all of that has to do with transport. So we'll talk a little bit about transport next time and how transport intertwines with everything else. And of course, all of this feeds back to COVID, right? We're in this big pandemic and we're trying to optimize our resilience. And so I was just on a webinar not too long, an hour ago. My colleagues at the Institute for Functional Medicine were putting on a webinar about COVID, and it turns out that the usual suspects, so all the things I talk about all the time, so aloe vera, curcumin, quercetin, zinc, selenium, they all have significant ability to calm down what's called the inflammasomes that are created by the COVID virus. So if you're sufficient in those things, and vitamin D as well, if you're sufficient in those things, the likelihood that you have a normal, healthy response to this COVID is probably higher than if you're deficient in those things. And the deficient people, the inflammatory response is going to run wild, and that's when you get into the cytokine storm, and then you get to the point where you're hospitalized and placed in the ICU and all that kind of thing. Can't wait for tomorrow. Topic but thought. Dry brushing. Oh, okay. Dry brushing is sort of a sensory thing. Let's see, I'm trying to do something bad here. So dry brushing is great, right, Bridget? I agree. Dry brushing is great, but it's more of a sensory. It calms down your limbic response. So your limbic system is the alarm system, and what happens during chronic illness is that your limbic system gets sort of muscle memory, if you will. It's a neurological memory, but call it muscle memory because most of us know what that means. And so anything that's novel tends to set off your limbic system and drive you deep into fight or flight. And dry brushing is a way of soothing that limbic response. So it's very helpful. And then there are some people who feel that it also causes all the little muscles in your skin to kind of contract and push along the lymph. So I can see perhaps somebody could say, actually, no, it's transport because it's helping move lymph. So that's possible too. And Colleen, hello, you're here just in time. We're just about to sign off. All right, any other questions before we sign off? Anything, any pearls you would like to?
Words. No.
She'll think of them as soon as I push the button. She always does. So we won't push the button for another 30 seconds. She has to say one more thing before I'm signing off. So get your slippers on. We might be here a while.
We're really waiting for me to say one more thing.
Yep, that's right.
Okay. I don't really have anything else to add, I don't think.
Okay. What's your favorite book about relationships?
My favorite book about relationships. Oh, goodness.
Or personality types?
I do love Brene Brown. You know, Braving the Wilderness is a great book.
Oh, I agree.
That I've gone back to a few times. Otherwise, John Gottman, I would have to say.
Yeah, super good.
Yeah, The Power of Eight, or the...
John Gottman isn't The Power of Eight, but...
but it's eight. 8 dates.
8 dates.
There we go. I knew it was an 8.
John Gottman has a ton of books out. He has the 8 Dates, which is great for relationships. He has Why Marriages Fail or Thrive, I think is the name of one of them. It's a lot of really good books on sort of couple relationships. Brene Brown, I think, is excellent for sort of more general relationships with community relationships and things. Yeah. All right, so tomorrow night we're going to talk about transport and how it relates to the functional medicine matrix and overall wellness and whole life wellness. And we'll continue to answer any questions you guys come up with. Write them down, bring them with you, because it's way more fun to answer your questions than for us to just drone on. All right, we'll see you tomorrow night.
Bye.
Bye.